Hey guys, Kitty Sapphire here. How's everybody doing on this wonderful Wednesday? Another day of cloud and overcast. Oof. But also today of Sailor Moon Stars trailer and season 2 of Aggretsuko and a little itty bitty tiny bit of Pokemon news. Nothing too major because it seems like everybody and their grandmother is basically covering it. So it's like, I don't want to repeat it. So I'll let everybody else do their thing and I'll do like little tidbits here and there. I know we had like 3 Wednesdays consecutively in a row of nothing but Pokemon stuff. So I just wanted to change it a little bit. But starting off, oh my goodness, I am so happy about the new Sailor Moon trailer. The Sailor Moon Star trailer finally has come to our shores. It has an English dub. It's definitely, I was off-putting about the English dub because it's not something that I'm accustomed to. I'm accustomed to the old school, I guess the Canadian dub as well as actually both Canadian dubs. So I'm not accustomed to the new one, but I guess, that's something that I will have to adjust to. But the fact of the matter is, it's finally here. Because I remember when I was a kid, they did season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4, which Sailor Moon R was cut into, I think, 3 sections where you had, the fight with Queen Beryl and the Negaverse. Then you had Anne and Alan with the with the Cardians in the Doom Tree. Then they had, oh god, the fight with the Negamoon family with the Sisters of Nemesis and Rubio and Prince Diamond and Prince Sapphire and my personal favorite villain, Wicked Lady. And then after that section, they went past to the Death Busters in the manga version that they called it, the Death Busters, which is also known as the Heart Snatchers, which was a very dark, in my opinion, very dark, but it grew up with its target audience back in the 90s. So I think that was kind of cool with it. So they had the Heart Snatchers and the Outer Senshi, and you had the big bad, which is Dr. Tomo, Pharaoh 90, and Mistress 9, which is also another favorite of mine. And then after that, that was Sailor Moon S. Now it's Sailor Moon Super S, where you had to deal with the Dead Moon Circus, and you had to deal with the Amazon Trio, Queen Helena, Amazon Quartet, all of them, and it was just like crazy, crazy, crazy. But back in the day, that was just it. The Dead Moon Circus was basically the only thing that was there, and that was the cutoff, only to come to find that there was actually another season after that, which is Sailor Moon Stars. But of course, it had a couple of issues with some of the translation as well as the content of the actual show. Being that you had Sailor Scouts that were basically, I believe they're called the Sailor Moon Starlight. They were human. When they're human, they're guys, but when they turn into Sailor Scout, they're girls, and that's all because of a curse. And then you have the Sailor villains, which are fellow Sailor Scouts from all over the different galaxies wearing very questionable attire. So it was just, they weren't not necessarily going to tackle that subject matter. And then especially the fact that in the Dead Moon Buster series, they had the section where the Sailor Scouts, 2 of the Sailor Scouts were in a romantic relationship. So they didn't want to necessarily tackle a Yuri-based or a lesbian-based relationship, so they made them cousins instead. Yeah, that made it a whole lot better. Ugh. Anyway, so it's really nice to see it. It's really nice to see that they're bringing it back. I'm really excited for that, and it's just like, oh my god, it's just oh my goodness. And I know they previewed it briefly at Anime NYC last year, but there was no trailer of any kind. So, it's nice that they're progressing and doing something. They finally doing something. So I will maybe later on down the line, maybe for my birthday, I'll pick up a copy or something like that, because I'm just curious to see how the series goes. I know on YouTube they had some people do some really cool fan dubs of it, and I wanted to see them to continue with it, but nothing happened of that. But I'm glad that they finally got a chance to.
So, Peaches.
Hi. Oh, Courage the Cowardly Dog, of course, it's a classic.
Show. It goes. I don't care about what anybody says. It goes Courage the Cowardly Dog, Sailor Moon, then Dragon Ball Z.
Okay, fine. Okay, I can live with that. I can actually live with that. But also, you cutting out Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Laboratory was really cool.
So then,
I love those shows. I love those shows.
Courage, Powerpuff Girls, Dexter, Sailor Moon,
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z.
Okay, fine. Hey, I don't care what anybody says out there. Dexter was shit. I love Dexter. It was really cool. Anyway, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to what this season is going to take. What direction that they're going with. You know, we get to see all the Sailor Scouts. I finally get my girl Sailor Saturn and shows her gusto in actual fighting prowess instead of her being basically a baby and that is it. Because that was basically her thing. She was a baby. She did her thing at the end where she basically destroyed Mistress 9 and destroyed Pharaoh 90 and she reverted herself back to a child. So it's just nice that we got this last installment of Sailor Moon and we can actually get proper closure from the series. So it's just really exciting for all fellow Sailor Moon fans and just going, this is like a monumental because it's like going down memory lane and just a lot of positive stuff came with it, and I just love that series so much. So next thing on the itinerary is Aggretsuko season 2. Oh my goodness, I actually love this version of this season of Aggretsuko. I was actually quite nervous for the second season because usually when you have a surprising or sleeper success story, whether in anime or TV shows or video games, the next installment, that's a lot of pressure on the people who created it. So, Aggretsuko was a huge hit first season, and to kind of go with it, kind of amp it up as much as you can, it's kind of difficult to do that. So I was a little worried about season 2, but season 2 really delivered on their promise of making a decent Aggretsuko. It went from a much more wider range, dealing with, being an adulting problems such as, you're dealing with a different culture of their idea of marriage, settling down, how to balance a job, what is considered to be acceptable. And to a certain extent in the Western world, it does fall in the same category. Like, people look to you, you get to a certain age, you're supposed to settle down, have a family, get a house, that type of thing. Also, they might not go to the furthest extent of like arranging a marriage, but the speed dating aspect, which I thought was really funny. Friends do play matchmaker from time to time, but not as much. Also the fact that, trying to balance this stuff with your job is very taxing, especially if it's a job that you don't like. So you want to have a proper career, have a happier life, but people kind of slide you back into this like path. Oh, if you do this will lead you to a much more happier life, when actually in reality it doesn't work out for everybody. And that's something that I took away from this season, is that there's certain different dynamics of either following somebody else's path is not fitting for you. And also you might get exactly what you want, or you feel that you're getting exactly what you want, but it's not, once you get it, it's not necessarily what you truly wanted. And I actually been there in both cases. So, I thought this was really ring true, just like the first one rang true towards me as an adult, and hopefully for anybody basically in their mid-20s, early 30s, some odd, could understand this particular type of anime, which is cool. Going with some of the characters, We didn't see Mr. Tone that much in this particular. Oh yeah, forgot spoilers ahead. I'm gonna put in the description that there will be spoilers for Aggretsuko 2 in this. So if you guys want to skip between, I think if you want to skip, I believe I'll put it, you know what? I'll put it at the very bottom of which points are spoilers and which ones aren't when I review this. So if you guys want to keep, you know, your don't want to hear any of the spoilers and you want to walk in with low expectations and you want to keep all the secrets to yourself, that is cool. That's fine. I completely understand. So I will do that. Mr. Tone wasn't really necessarily in the show that much versus the first season. He wasn't necessarily the negative force in this case. He was the voice of wisdom, even though he's still kind of a jerk. He's still kind of a, you know, bastard, if you know, whatever. He's still a hard ass to Aggretsuko. Haida and Feneko weren't as prominent. I mean, they were prominent, but not as prominent as the previous episode, especially Feneko. Haida was a little bit more. He was still kind of a side character, you know, still pining over Aggretsuko and what have you. What else? They introduced a couple of new characters and illuminated some of the old ones. So, for instance, they come up with this one guy named Ida. And boy, Ida, this character was majorly creepy in my point of view because he was the type of person that was high grade, very stressed, high strung in his job. He wanted to be perfect, but he kept flopping. And then when somebody tried to critique him, he kind of went into this like psychotic mode that, you know, you're being a little bit overbearing, you're being very disrespectful for me, and hi Vanessa, how are you? I hope everything is well. Just talking about Aggretsuko on Netflix. So yeah, Ida, he basically writes up all these situations and all these things that Aggretsuko says to him while training him. And it's kind of much. It is stereotypical of no, I'm not critiquing someone, I'm critiquing a character from a show that I'm watching called Aggretsuko. I would recommend it. Anybody who's in the 30 range or 20 range, anybody who's trying to be adult at this point can understand what the show is trying to say. So I recommend this to anyone in that particular vein. So I'm just talking about a particular character. Of course, if you want to just kind of, like I said beforehand, if you guys want to, you know, go off and don't want to hear this part because I'm doing spoilers at this moment and I'm just critiquing this one character. So Ida, going back to Ida, he is kind of anal when they're trying to critique him or trying to help him out. He writes out everything. He talks about the date and time. He says, oh, this was belittling and such and such. Can you express this? And you have a deadline to respond to them, or he's going to release it to the manager and get his fellow coworkers in trouble. And I think that was like, wow, dang, you, first of all, bro, you're really creepy. You're kind of need to chill a little bit. And he was going a little bit too in with the other characters that were trying to help them. I felt that, you know, Aggretsuko, of course, her passive manner, she tried to kind of build sort of a connection with him and try to say, like, apologetically, heavily apologetically, you know, the misunderstanding, but sounds like you're having a good day. Just wanted to check in, going to work on the story. Okay, no problem. Well, thank you for stopping by. Of course, Vanessa. So, yeah, she tries to mend it with him, and he was not hearing it. And then Haida jumps in to, you know, to help Aggretsuko a little bit, and he did his thing of basically coaching him and how, you know, some of the projects that they were supposed to be doing together, Anai is not willing to help her. and he even tries to get Haida in trouble, and it's like it's crazy. And they started telling you, this is what, from an outside's point of view, the younger generation is dealing with, that they're high anxiety, they are too hard on themselves, and they try to get everything perfect, and then they end up fumbling, and then they'll take any type of critique, sort of like, depending on your presentation, they'll take it the wrong way. And I love how they explain that, as well as introduce more so to the Hippo character. Now, I keep forgetting her name. She's a wonderful character. She's really adorable. In the first season, she is known as the gossip chick of the office. She talks about celebrities and such. But technically, she is a 24/7 mom, or she's a caregiver as well as a career woman. And she doesn't really have time for herself. So when she blabs and talks, that's like the only time she gets to really be herself. And I think that's really cool. I love how that, due to her experience of working with children and now working with Anai, this newcomer coming into the office, and we have this impression of him that he's like this monstrosity who wants to just get everybody in trouble. She kind of breaks down his walls a little bit and unlocks something that we didn't know about Anai, that makes that person feel a little bit more comfortable of expressing it to the world. And that little sort of like coaching mommy step that you take in the office, that that should be reintroduced into, instead of just yelling orders, barking orders, and just critiquing, but sometimes presentation of that critique is just as important. So yeah, that whole section was really good. Still, Anai is really creepy. It was nice to see him kind of bring down his walls. Also, that face that he made, like he had his eyes like rolled in the back of his head, and he's like the colors that they used to emulate, or to give a much more pronunciation to his face of pure and utter stress, and sort of like this psychotic look, was just like over. It was just over for me. Next was Washimi and Gori. Oh my goodness. First of all, those two are my favorite characters of the whole show. Between, besides Retsuko, everybody was like, Finako is my favorite. Actually, the two high profile working girls out of the company, Gori and Washimi, were my favorite two characters. And boy, was it heartbreaking to see them have a rough patch. As anybody who's in a really close friendship, or a best friendship, they know that their friendship will sometimes hit rough patches. And it was really hard to see their rough patch, to see that there was some information that Washimi did not express to Gori, and Gori felt that they've been together for a long period of time. You should share everything with me. And that's sort of like how a sisterhood supposed to be like. And the old adage of, well, you didn't ask me at the time. And there are different views of how a relationship and how love should work, that some people want marriage, and they think that's the end all be all, or that's the biggest symbol of love that you can bring to a person. And then you have somebody else who believes in companionship, and that the ceremony and the ring and all these other hangups that we have with marriage are just a facade and a waste of time and money, instead of just being together and being in love with each other and just living for that moment. And it's like, I love to see the different dynamics of what relationships would be, because this world is vast and very diverse. So how people handle things differently is very unique to me, and I like that, because everybody has their story. It's what makes this world beautiful, as well as stressful and disturbing. So yeah, it was really tough. But what I love about Washimi and Gori, even though right now they're going through a rough patch, they did not let it affect Aggretsuko. Aggretsuko was going through some hardship with her beau of this season, and they took some time out. They called a truce with their issues with each other, constantly butting heads, and then they said, truce. We got to help our girl Aggretsuko out. We're still at odds with each other, but guess what? Aggretsuko is our main priority right now. We got to help her out. She's our best friend, and that's more important than us feuding right now. So, I love that dynamic. I love that they put their differences aside, only for briefly. I'm hoping if they ever do a season 3, that Washimi and Gori get back together, because it would be really heartbreaking to see them seeing them just, not together, not conversing, just not being together, because they're just polar opposites of each other, and I love it. I love their dynamic. It's just really, really cool. And the love interest of this season is named Tadano. Now, in the first season, Aggretsuko had somebody who was pretty much like what they would consider a potted plant. He was a very boring, samey as Aggretsuko. He was a fellow red panda, but he didn't really have any interest that was expressed. He was more of like a wet mop in a lot of cases, very oblivious to things that we consider customary when you're dating someone. And in this case, Tadano, which is a donkey, the way they first meet up with him, he seems to be a slacker type, not really into, job and working and all this other stuff. And Aggretsuko meets him at a DMV where she's getting her license, because she's trying to do anything and everything to kind of, I would have to say, postpone her meetings with several different guys. So by her mother kept setting her up with several different types of meetings with guys, and she didn't want to go on these several dates, so she kind of BS'd other stuff that was more important than her dating. So she meets Tadano at this DMV, and it's more of this illusion that Tadano is like the slacker off type, but come to find that he's a freaking genius. He's a rich CEO. He has his own company. He made this AI. He has all the money in the world. He has a limo and he has a private plane, and basically fits all the criteria that Aggretsuko was looking for in season 1. And you can see it, how they blossom and how they bloom together, and how she's basically everything that she ever dreamed of. Heck, I was actually like wanting to date this this anthropomorphic donkey guy, because I like that. I like people who have a different viewpoint than I do, that are, they have something to add to this world and want to make things a lot better for people, and not just a particular group of people, for everybody. And then also I like the idea that, unfortunately, we are stuck with the 9 to 5 grind of work, and not enough time to do what we really want to do, whether it's a passion or a craft or a skill set that you want to constantly harness on. It's a little bit challenging when you deal with a job that you don't very, very much like. And I like that, but also the pros and cons of it, that not necessarily everybody is down for that particular change, or they're not accustomed to it. And then on top of that, she had to basically learn the difference of what she wanted for herself and what was okay because her boyfriend said so. Not saying he was a manipulous jerk, but the fact of the matter is, it got to a point, there was a crossroads. I'm going to leave this little tidbit out. There's a little bit of a crossroads where Aggretsuko has to choose what her particular dream is, or go with the flow and date this guy that basically fulfills all your criteria that you had in the first season, which could be considered the convenient route, but it can also be conflicting for what you originally want. So it's heavy. It's heavy in that department, because I have been there in that point before. and it's very, very challenging. It's very, very difficult to. It's just this. Oh, season 2 was just great. Season 2 was great. I would recommend it to anyone. Oh my goodness, go on Netflix, watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it. It's great. It's great. So overall, in closing, I love this show. I love season 2. It went with its it went with its what the direction it wanted to be. It fulfilled out the expectations for those who watched season 1 and then went into season 2. It was great. It was just great. Next on the criteria, and I think I'm going to pick this up because technically I'm running a little bit out of time, but the next one that I'm really excited for is My Hero Academia season 4. Oh my goodness, I saw the trailer and it's like, oh, okay. I actually went the route of I went the route of actually going for Hold on one second. I'm sorry, guys. I understand you guys are excited about something, but I don't. Thank you. I am so sorry, guys. First of all, excuse my attire. I hate this shirt. It's laundry day, so not my orange is okay. It's just not my all-time favorite color. That's it. That's basically it. But please excuse the attire. But going back to what I was saying, My Hero Academia season 4, I am looking forward to. Now, I went the route of basically reading the manga first. Well, reading up, I've still got a lot of catching up to do because there's like tons and tons of chapters. Oh my god, there's just like tons of chapters. But I love manga. It's been a long time since I actually read manga. So this kind of revives my love for manga, especially back in the Tokyo Pop days. Oh goodness, I missed that comic book company. Anyway, season 4, lots to go over. Like, I was really happy that you get to see Night, I believe it's Night Eye, which was All Might's old sidekick. We get to have that iconic scene where All Might actually talks to Deku, which is cool. We get to see more of Overhaul, that starting scene where Overhaul actually is talking to the rest of the League of Villains, which is really cool. I still don't know exactly what Overhaul does per se that would make me really, really dislike him. I haven't gotten to that part. I'm still looking and reading. It's just really hard when you're trying to do artwork and you're trying to do the news and it's just a lot to do on top of that. So I apologize if I don't have any more information about that. But yes, I still don't know what Overhaul is basically up to, which makes me really dislike him. All I know is based on the manga. Oh yeah, spoiler alert. Well, actually, I don't think it's really a spoiler alert because you do see the character, and Overhaul is associated with this little girl with a horn. I can't remember her name at the moment. I'm sorry about that, but yeah. And that's my phone, my brand new phone. There is a connection between the two. So I'm assuming he's kind of a child napper. I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's a strike on the list. But I mean, villains can kidnap people, and of course it's kind of custom-made if you wanted to like the old-fashioned mustache twirling based type of villain of kidnapping people, but it's like, nothing really sticks out. But I know for a fact the writer, especially the fact that you had a villain like Stain, who was a misguided individual, even though that turned into a villain. I have a feeling that Overhaul represents something that I'm definitely going to have my knickers in a twist. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to my possibly new husbando, Tamaki, but we'll have to see, because it's like every time I get a husbando or a third husbando, they don't really last long. They either die or you lose interest or something like that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Tamaki and seeing him in action. So we'll see how that goes and how long that lasts. Of course, I'm looking to see what the other characters will do, especially the fact that All Might is no longer he will always be the representation of peace, but because now he's in retirement, there's a huge power vacuum of who's going to be the next in line. And guess what? It's Endeavor, and everybody dislikes Endeavor because of how awful he just is, and how he treats his family, and how he treats best boy Todoroki. Yes, Deku and Todoroki are my personal favorite. They're best boy, and nobody can say otherwise, dang on it. But yes, Endeavor is going, it looks like Endeavor is going to take over for All Might, and it's going to be really hard, especially the fact that he's not I feel that based on his personality, he is not the hero that we need. We need somebody better. Because he's only doing it for the fame and fortune and for himself, and not necessarily for the right reasons, like All Might did. So, or Big Daddy All Might. Yes, Big Daddy All Might, because he's just a lovable father, and just has tons and tons of kids, and it's just like, Big Daddy All Might. I swear, quote unquote, I would love to have All Might as my father. It was like really cool. So, so I'm looking forward to My Hero Academia. In light of this, and I'm probably going to talk about this for tomorrow on my art update, that I will be doing some fan art for the coming out of season 4. So I'm thinking about expanding stickers, prints, and other stuff. So stay tuned for that. And last but not least, I am happy, and they don't have a trailer for this, but they have coming out season 2 of Love, Death, and Robots. If you guys don't know, actually a couple of streams older on my Facebook page, I go into a great synopsis of Love, Death, and Robots. Basically, I'll just say in a nutshell, it's similar to Animatrix, where you have like these small time shorts of different types of styles from different writers and artists, and they come up with a cohesive, 11 to at least 15 to 20 minute stories of these different worlds, from actual robots to full-on science fiction to supernatural science fiction, and like werewolves and vampires and all this other stuff. It's just it's a really nice take on it. And I had fun. There actually, in the previous stream, I do talk about my three top favorite shorts that I had of Love, Death, and Robots. But I would recommend, it's also on Netflix now, and if you want to catch up on the stories, you're welcome to do so. But with that, I'm going to cut it off here. I want to say thank you for all of you guys for coming out and actually looking and visiting my stream. And of course, there's more. Hi, Lucy Jones. How are you? So, if you guys are welcome, I'm doing well, and you? But yeah, I'm going. If you guys can catch me, there are other streams that I have planned. There's one tomorrow, which is my art update. Then if you guys want to go back, they have well, I mean, I do, it's a 30-minute stream, so depending if there's like more material, I have material that I already have, but if there's more material to talk about, I will expand the stream. But usually I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, Lucy. Well, again, you guys can also, if you guys come in at the last minute, don't worry. I have some previous streams on my YouTube and on my Facebook page. I will have all my links. So, 5 minutes, please. I can talk a little bit more about like the stream, the other parts, the other places that I can set up for my streams for. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Let me reiterate that. I will go over a couple of the other pages that you can go to for information regarding my stream. Better. And that if you guys are unfortunately come here a little bit late and you want to participate in the stream, I have my schedules up. You can catch me on Twitter. You can catch me on Facebook. You can catch me on Patreon and my DeviantArt page. So, yeah, you can actually go to those particular places and catch me on my schedule. Mondays, I do my con reviews. And then on Wednesday, of course, today is Nerd News, and then tomorrow, art updates. If you guys want to actually support several of my places, I have my Patreon, my Etsy page, where you get some cool merch, some fan art that I have my own creation. And if you guys just want to chat, a simple chat, you can always PM me at Facebook and Twitter. So I guess I'll talk to you guys a little later, okay? See ya. Bye.